So now we're looking at page 52, and it says building blocks of binary form used after page 144. So you've finished page 144 now, and let's take a look at the binary form. So in the first one, Quinn, we see there's section A, and we have a couple of light bulbs in there. We have A and A1. So do you think those light bulbs are the same or different or similar?
Well, they're not the same, but they're kind of similar.
They're kind of similar. So when we have a parallel period, what happens in measures 1 and 2 and measures 5 and 6? They are what?
1 and 2 are the same, but 5 and 6 are altered and different.
Well, they are, but not in the parallel period, right? So if we're thinking about a parallel period, and maybe you can just point up there right beside the little light bulb. So measures 1 and 2 are...
Measures 1 and 2?
Yeah, measures 1 and 2, just a higher, where it says measures, there you go. 1 and 2 and 5 and 6 are repeated, an exact copy, right?
Okay, oh, right, yeah.
Oh, okay, now I got it. Okay, and so what is altered is the last two measures where it says new answer. Okay, so now, what about, that's okay, what about contrasting period? What does contrast mean anyway?
It's like the differences, I guess, in it.
Yeah, exactly, differences. So take a look at those two light bulbs. Are they the same or are they different?
I'd say they're pretty different.
They're pretty different, definitely. They're not even similar. They're like, well, that's completely different. Okay, so a contrasting period. What happens here between measures 1 to 4 and 5 to 8 is that they're same or different?
They're different.
They're different. So when we bring our cadences to a conclusion at the end of a contrasting period, if we look at contrasting, which is the new one that we're talking about, the A ends with what kind of a cadence?
The A ends with a... I'm not sure, actually.
Well, point to where Tito is with his little light bulbs.
Tito's here.
Right above that, it says A to the right. Down.
A ends with a half cadence.
Ah, Quinn can read. Woot, woot. Okay, and then what does it say about the B?
B ends with an authentic cadence.
B ends with an authentic cadence. Okay, so let's repeat that so we remember it. When we have, and now we're going to start with parallel. So we're starting with sola. So point to it again and tell me what it is. A parallel period.
Parallel
You're
period.
up with sola. A ends with what?
A ends with a half cadence.
Mm-hmm.
And A1 ends with an authentic cadence.
Okay, what about a contrasting period?
A also ends with a half cadence, and B also ends with an authentic cadence.
Okay, so both of these are question and answer 4-measure phrases. So then what is the difference between a parallel period and a contrasting period is that in a parallel period, we have A and A what?
A and A1.
A and A1 because they're similar. And in a contrasting period, we have what?
A and B, because they're pretty much completely different.
Very good. Now you got it?
Yeah.
Give me a thumbs up.
I got it.
The fourth bright idea is melody writing. Where do we start? That's a good question. Level 6, page 56. Melody writing. Where do you start? Well, start with ice. Imagine. Use your imagination to create a title that describes your composition. Compose. Write your composition and add your name, top right as the composer. Explore. Add sola sparkles, terms and signs, articulation, and so on to express how the music is to be played. Now, sola says, when composing, follow these 3 composing steps. So number 1, record your melody as you play and use it as a reference. Now, this is really important because sometimes we might play a little something and then we go, oh my goodness, what did I play? I can't remember. It was so good. So always record it just with your phone or any recording device. Then write your melody on the whiteboard and try different ideas because, of course, it's easy to erase on the whiteboard. And finally, number 3, write your melody in your workbook and then add your sola sparkles of articulation and dynamics, etc. to create your final composition. All right, exercise number 1. Complete the following melody to create a parallel period. Now in this exercise, we're going to actually look at the answer book. Level 6, the answer book, page 56, melody writing with ice. Now students, imagine what their melody is about and complete the title, and then they add their name as the composer. Identify the time signature and key signature, and then complete the composition. Now, one thing I want to point out here is that you will notice there are functional chord symbols. Oh, sorry, there's my title and me, the composer. Now, here's the functional chord symbols that are below each measure. So playing the chords first while humming, or just experimenting with the melody above the chords, then that often helps students complete the first 4-measure phrase ending with a half cadence and the second 4-measure phrase ending with an authentic cadence. And you can also add your solo sparkles of articulation and dynamics. Now remember that articulation may include a slur or staccatos. And previously, remember when identifying our 4-measure phrases as A, A1, or B, we're going to use square brackets so that it's not confusing with articulation such as a slur, right? So, Tito time. Get your composer's certificate. If you scan your composition on this page and when you send it in to us at info@ultimatemusictheory.com, we'll send you a special Ultimate Music Theory Composer's Certificate, absolutely free. So just send that us to your composition, and it'll be great to see what you guys come up with. I'm excited. Melody writing. Where do you start? Do you start at the piano? Do you start writing on your whiteboard? Do you start writing directly in your workbook? You know, your ideas and those of your students about where to start melody writing may be different, right? So when you ask any composer, they'll always come up with something different. Oh, I just jot it down on a piece of paper or staff paper. Oh, I like to write music on the guitar or the piano. So I'd love to hear your ideas. So here's another question for you. Where do you start your melody writing? So just leave me a little note in the chat box here. Do you start at the piano? Do you just kind of sing it? Do you write it on your paper or your whiteboard? So go ahead and add that in the chat box for me. In the meantime, let's check in with Quinn and see where he likes to start his melody writing.
So now, Quinn, we are on page number 56, and we are doing Imagine, Compose, and Explore. Now, I'm actually showing the answer book here because as we started this, Quinn, I kind of let you play the answer book first, didn't I? And the reason for that is just to kind of give you a clue, like how do we get started with composing? Have you ever done a lot of composing?
Not really.
Not really? So were you a little bit nervous when I said, hey, we're going to be composing today?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, right? Because you just kind of don't know where to start. So here's the little instructions when we're doing our Imagine, Compose, and Explore. So we want to imagine, you know, what are we writing about? Like, we got to think about that first, right? And then we want to compose our composition and make sure you identify yourself as the composer and explore, you know, adding solo sparkles. So inside the box, Sola says, when composing, follow these 3 steps. So you want to record yourself. And this is really important because sometimes you play something and you say, oh, what was that again? I forgot what I played. Write the melody on your whiteboard so you can try different ideas. And then you can go ahead and write it in your workbook and add your solo sparkles. So on your whiteboard, maybe just scooch that over into the middle of the keys there. So, oh, sorry, not too far. Otherwise, we can't see our original. There. So now what you're going to do, and this is in the key of, you might want to move it over a bit more because we've lost the key signature there. Perfect. That's perfect. Okay. So now we're writing in the key of G major in 4/4 time. Can you just go ahead and play the bass notes for those 1, 4, and 5 chords? Okay, so now we know those are the bass notes. So we're going to write a melody above that. Can you go ahead and play the given melody and then just ad lib? So we're creating a composition here based on the opening phrase, right? It's a question phrase, so we have to end on an unstable scale degree. And then the answer phrase, we have to end on a stable scale degree. So let's see what you've come up with so far, Quinn. Quinn, did you find it helpful to put the chords in there, or could you play that melody without the chords now? Just the melody. Try it.
I think I probably found it easier with the chords because I saw more of my options almost with the left-hand notes, but you want me to try it
Sure.
without that?
Yeah. I kind of put you on the spot there, didn't I? So when you're composing, and I know this is just new for you, do you like to have both hands? Do you like that support of hearing the bass note?
I think so, yeah.
More so than just playing it without?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Gives me more like structure to it almost.
Yeah, it does, and I think it leads you to the cadence ending too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a little more helpful. And did you end the first phrase with an unstable scale degree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Be confident.
Yes.
Yes. And did you end it on the tonic? Did you end it on a stable scale degree at the end?
Yes.
Good job. All right. Quinn is officially a composer.